Now in this picture you can see obviously that both the atria are depolarized. Okay, this purple color shaded area, as you can see, both the atria, they are depolarized, as so the impulse which was started in the S node now has spread through both the atria, and both the atria are depolarized. But you must remember at this point that the atrial muscle fibers are not directly connected with the ventricular muscle fibers. Why? Because they are insulated. The atrial muscle fibers are insulated from the ventricular muscle fibers, and this is because that there are valves present between the atria and the ventricles. So on the right side there is a valve known as tricuspid, and on the left side there is a valve known as mitral. Now these valves basically they consist of fibrous tissue, and remember that the fibrous tissue do not allow the diffusion of ions. The fibrous tissue do not allow the electrical impulse to pass. Okay, they are actually they act as insulators. So basically the cardiac impulse cannot pass directly from the atrial muscles into the ventricular muscles, because these two muscles are separated, are insulated by the fibrous tissue which is present between the atria and the ventricles. Okay, so the only pathway through which an impulse can pass into the ventricles from the atria is this AV node and the bundle of hairs. So AV node is the only point in the heart through which an impulse can pass from the atria into the ventricles. In other words, you can say that the AV node is basically the electrical bridge between the atrial muscles and the ventricular muscles. Okay, so this is the only path, this is the only point through which the impulse can pass from the atrial muscles into the ventricular muscles. And now look at this AV node, and then this is the bundle of hairs. Okay, this portion of the heart, the specialized excitatory and conductive system of the heart, has been zoomed out. This is the enlarged view of this portion of the heart. Now as you can see, this is the AV node. Okay, and these are the three internodal pathways, okay, leading to AV node. And then from this AV node, here it is the bundle of hairs or AV bundle, okay, up to this point, and then it divides into right and left bundle branches. So this is an enlarged view of AV node and bundle of hairs. Now you see the impulse originates in the SA node, and then it passes through these internodal pathways, okay, and then it reaches the AV node. So by the time it reaches it enters the AV node, 0.03 seconds have passed. Okay, that means that the impulse takes about 0.03 second to reach this AV node. 0.03 second. Okay, now in this AV node, this impulse is delayed. It doesn't pass rapidly through the AV node. It passes very slowly through the AV node, and by the time it reaches the end of the AV node and passes out of the AV node, by that time 0.12 seconds have gone. That means that 0.09 second delay occurs in the AV node. 0.03 plus 0.09, okay, that is equal to 0.12. Okay, in other words, the 0.12 minus 0.03 is 0.09. So the impulse is delayed in the AV node for about 0.09 second. Okay, so the impulse which was originated in the SA node, it reached this AV node in 0.03 second. Then it took about 0.09 second to get out of the AV node and enter the bundle of hairs. Okay, and then in the bundle of hairs, another delay of 0.04 second occurs. 0.04 seconds. So you can see there is a delay of 0.09 second in the AV node and 0.04 second in the bundle of hairs. Okay, so if you add these two, it is about total delay is of about 0.13 second. So if you add 0.13 to this 0.03, you will get 0.16. So that means that the impulse takes about 0.16 second before it enters the right and left bundle branches, which are in the interventricular septum. So that means the impulse takes about 0.16 second to reach the ventricular septum, interventricular septum. That means that there is a delay of about 0.13 second in the AV node and in the AV bundle. Okay, this is known as the AV nodal delay, and this delay occurs because of the two facts. Number one, it is because of the small size of the fibers in the AV node and the bundle of phase. So the fibers which are present in the AV node and the bundle of phase, their diameters are very small, so they offer a lot of resistance to the diffusion of ions. Since the diffusion of ions cannot take place rapidly, there is high resistance because of small diameters, so the diffusion takes place very slowly, and this transmission of impulse is slowing down of the transmission of impulse occurs. The second reason for this slowing down of transmission of impulse in the AV node and the bundle of phase is that they have got less number of gap junctions. In this part of the heart, the AV node and the bundle of phase, the number of gap junctions is very less. Okay, so that's why the impulse transmission is slowed down, so there is a delay of 0.09 second in the AV node, and there is a delay of about 0.04 second in the AV bundle. So the total delay is 0.13 second, and it is because of these two reasons. So by the time the impulse enters the first part of the ventricle, okay, these bundle branches, right and left bundle branches, which are part of the ventricular ventricle, so it takes about 0.16 seconds. Okay, it takes about 0.16. After 0.16 second, it appears in the ventricles. Okay, so there is a delay of 0.13 second. And why this delay is needed? The question is, why there is so much delay in the AV node and the bundle of phase of 0.13 second? It actually allows the atria to contract ahead of the ventricles. That is the whole point. Okay, this delay occurs, okay, in the impulse passes from the SA node, depolarizes both the atria, and the impulse is delayed here, or you can say the impulse is slows down here. It is arrested for a while here, so it doesn't go into the ventricles rapidly. So what happens that the atria are depolarized first, so they will also contract first. So that means it allows some time for the atria to contract ahead of the ventricle, so that they can empty their blood, so that they can push their blood into the ventricles. Now why it is important? Because there is some blood remaining in the ventricles. Okay, so without that blood going into the ventricles will not be filled properly with the blood. Okay, so for proper filling of the blood, okay, the atria must contract ahead of the ventricles. Now imagine if there was no such insulation, and imagine the impulse could go directly from the atria into the ventricles rapidly. Okay, so what would happen? What would have happened that the atria would have contracted along with the ventricles, and the ventricles would have contracted along with all the four chambers would contract at the same time. So that blood which was present in the atria, that would have been impossible to go into the ventricles, and the proper filling of the ventricles would not be possible. So in order to make it possible that the atria contract ahead and empty themselves before the ventricular contraction, this AV nodal delay is must. Okay, so for proper filling of the ventricles, AV nodal delay is must. Okay, and this total delay is of about 0.13 second, and it is because of the small sized fibers in the AV node and less number of gap junction, because of which the impulse slows down here. It doesn't go into the ventricles, so the atria, they are depolarized first, so that they have time to contract ahead of the ventricle, so that the proper filling of the ventricles takes place. Okay.